Gracious God, creator of the universe, and yet the lover of my soul. Alpha and Omega, and yet I can call you friend. I don't have to beg you for anything, but I can thank you for everything. God, I thank you because this is the day that you have made, and I can rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you for this day of magnificence and glory and splendor. God, I thank you for life, health, and for strength. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for peace, love, and joy. I thank you for the essence of you that envelops me right now, from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet. We thank you for this day of manifestation. We thank you for the day of revelation. We thank you for the day of impartation. We thank you as you move in the midst of your people to bring us to the greatest times that we've ever seen since the foundation of the world. Thank you, Lord, that for this time and for this season, you've allowed us to be a part of your move in the face of the earth. I thank you, God, for the revolution that you're bringing forth, God, even in the midst of the earth right now. And I thank you for the opportunity to be a part of what you're doing in this hour, because in the last days, saith God, you said you would pour out your spirit on all flesh. And so now we thank you for the pouring out. God, I thank you for the rain and the move of your spirit. I thank you for fresh oil. I thank you for new wine. I thank you for the new thing that you're doing. I thank you now that it does spring forth. I thank you, Lord, that you've called us to be the head and not the tail. You've called us to be above only and not beneath. You've called us to be the lender and not the borrower. You've called, God, that our storehouses would be full and increase. God, I thank you because even I decree and declare that the people under the sound of my voice, even now, are moving in the might of your strength. Not by might nor by power, but by your spirit. I thank you for those that are the sons and daughters of God that are called because they walk not after the flesh, but after your spirit. I thank you for the rising up of the people of your kingdom. I thank you that your kingdom come. I thank you that your will be done, even now in earth as it is in heaven. I thank you, Lord, because you are moving in the midst of your people mightily as never before. Raise us up, oh God, to the standard of what you've called us to be. God, I thank you for the standard of greatness. I thank you for the standard of holiness. I thank you for the standard of moving as the sons and daughters of yours, and not as vagabonds, not as those that never knew you, not as those that are confused and confounded, but God, those that know who they are in you. I thank you for the knowing. I thank you, God, for knowing you. I thank you for knowing your presence. Thank you for knowing your Holy Ghost power that gives us the ability to be successful. Your anointing that gives us the power to rise up and be called blessed. Thank you for that is in us. Thank you, God, for all things that pertain to life and godliness. Thank you because we are not confused. We are not deceived. And we thank you for that clarity of mind and the clarity of vision that allows us to walk forth as kings and queens, as princes and princesses in the kingdom that walk in the earth. We thank you that we are your beloved, and we rise up as the apple of your eye. We rise up, oh God, as those that you love with all of your heart. And God, we love you back. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for soundness of spirit. I thank you that healing is our bread. Healing is our deliverance. By the stripes of Jesus, we're already healed. And we speak forth that healing even now for those that need it. Thank you, God, for every stripe that was taken. Thank you for the bruising. Thank you that he was wounded for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. God, with those same stripes we declare and we speak healing in Jesus' name. We give you glory. We give you peace. We give you honor. We give you blessing. We give you might. We ascribe all of these things unto you because they are yours. Thank you. The fruit of my lips giving thanks unto your name, ever giving you all that is yours. Glory, honor, power, dominion, majesty. It's yours. I decree it and I speak it In the mighty name of Jesus, it is so. Amen and amen.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is so good to see you all on this fine day. This is Wednesday. Somebody said it's hump day, y'all. It's hump day. Wednesday, December the 16th. Can you believe that? In the year 2020. And I'm so glad to see every last one of you in here on this morning. I am just always thrilled to come in and chat with you guys, and I look forward to the conversation on the morning daily. And, today is no different than any other day. You all are some beautiful people. I have to tell you that. I have some of the most beautiful people in the world that come in here and meet me on every morning. 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. This is Regina L. Stillman, your spiritual thought leader. And this is Yes, You OQ, one-on-one, just me and you. And I am excited about the change that's on the land right now. Now, I tell you what, I always open up with Grandpa Holmes's chair, and I just don't know what to say. These two, y'all gonna have to get up awful early in the morning to beat these two up in my chat. Joanna Jams JJ has been beating everybody before the studio even comes live, and then as soon as I hit the button, I see Monica L. Smith in the space. And so I want to take the time this morning to tell them thank you for showing the initiative to get up early and get here with me. You are the winners of Grandpa Holmes's chair. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Let me get your cheer. Let me get your cheer going. Yes, these are the winners for Grandpa Holmes's chair. I tell you what, I love it and I appreciate you. Quite frankly, sometimes when I think I just want to lay here for a little bit longer, I got to remember that I got folks in Grandpa Holmes's chair that are waiting on me. So, I got to jump up and do what I do. I got to do what I do. You all get me up and get me moving bright and early to make sure I get my locomotion lotion always in hand for every morning's edition. I want to thank you because I really could not do this without you. If you didn't come and participate and share and show your kindness to spend your time with me here in the morning, it would be pointless. So I hope that you all are getting a benefit. I hope that you're enjoying the time. I hope that you're enjoying the chat, because I definitely am. With that, we want to get that good morning coffee. You got your coffee mugs ready? Good morning, The Rebel Inc. Good morning, Monica L. Smith. Good morning, Jams JJ. Good morning, Teresa. I always get excited when I see Teresa Jones. She's out there on another platform, but she makes it in every morning. Good morning, SK8843 and BTD Mom. It's always good to come in and have this fresh cup. We sip it fresh, and you know how we take it? No cream, no sugar. We take our coffee strong and black, because we tell it like it T-I-Z-Tis. And I love it. I love it. I love to be able to do that every single day with you all here in the morning. Now, as we talk about sponsorship, I appreciate everybody. All of the biddies, I appreciate. All of the those that are subs, I appreciate that. Thank you for your subscriptions. Some of you have asked how I need to find out. You came in as a tier 1 subscriber and you'd like to go up to either tier 2 or tier 3. I need to check that out and get back with you. That question has come from several. I have not forgotten. I just need Jams JJ can probably tell you how to do it, because honey, Jams JJ knows these Twitch streets like the back of her hand. But nonetheless, I need to get that information and get it to you, because I understand that some of you would like to subscribe to a higher tier than where you are right now. And that just makes me so glad. And I do everything I can. I do everything I can to try and upgrade this platform on a regular so that you all are getting the best quality that you can possibly get. That being said, I got to appreciate the Rebel Inc., who is my corporate sponsor. And the Rebel Inc., with everything in her, is constantly working to help me to keep this platform upgraded. And I want you to go out there and check her out. She supports me. I want you all to support her. Yes, Jams JJ is the Twitch queen, baby. You better ask somebody. You better. I love you too, Monica. You better ask somebody. She is the Twitch queen. Matter of fact, she just anything on the internet platform, honey, she's gonna run it down and figure it out, and y'all can just give her a call and see how to do it. But nonetheless, I want to go back to appreciating the Rebel Inc. The rebelinc.com. Go out there and get you some active wear. It's great stuff. Yes, Jasamas.com. We are lions, and you're going to hear us roar. I'm so serious about everything that we got going on. While we're doing station identification, I just want to stop right now because I've been missing this, but I want to invite you every Sunday evening. Yes, You With Friends is a beautiful platform where my friends come on and have conversation with me as a group, and they I tell you, I just enjoy their conversation as well, and then I enjoy the chat that comes out of that conversation. You all are some brilliant minds, every last one of you, those in the chat and my friends. Join us at 6 o'clock. I host that on Sunday evenings at 6 o'clock. Join me with my friend Jonna, Rhonda, Tyrone, and the Galactic Supervisor. We have a great time, and I just want to encourage you and invite you. If you're free on Sunday evenings, you want to be a part of that platform also. We talk about some very, very interesting things. So just join us, join us, join us. All right? Now, let's get this party crack-a-lacking. That's what we do over here. So I'm going to reach out here for King Coogie's hookup. Follow him. For all of you Twitchers out there, please follow King Coogie and give him your support. He's good folk, and he is a lion. I call him Sire. He is a lion, and you're going to hear him roar. He's awesome. He's off the chain, and I appreciate him for providing these tracks for us as we get it going. Now, let me know if that is too loud. I'm having some monitoring issues on my audio, so I'm having to kind of guess here on the sounds, on the volume levels. So you all let me know if it's too loud, if it's not loud enough, and we'll get this show on the road. I tell you what, I really, really, really am excited about what's coming down the pike and what we're in the middle of right now. Because thank you, BTD Mom. All right, that lets me know I can keep on rolling. Keep on trucking, baby. So, as we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, it was reported to me that the weather's getting ready to cut up, y'all. We have a major, and they've called it, quote, serious storm. That's what the weather forecasters are calling it. That we on the East Coast are about to get dumped with a bunch of snow and ice in what is going to be a very, very serious storm. And they're expecting it to dump snow and ice up to 12 foot and more in many areas out on the East Coast. So Pennsylvania, New York, and North Carolina, they're expected to really get hit with the brunt of what's going on. And then it's just going to kind of spread itself everywhere else. Now, the weather's trying to tell you something. And as I said, all creation is groaning, waiting for the manifestation of the sons and daughters of God. Even the weather is a disruption. I'm going to go ahead and bring that word up early in our broadcast because I'm going to talk about something a little bit later on in our empowerment phase of the broadcast. But look at disruptions everywhere. I know we've talked about global warming in our country up until these last 4 years and been very active in trying to reverse the curse that we unleashed on the land. Yes, we unleashed it. 12 feet of snow, BTD Mom, and more. That's just where they're thinking the minimal level. I heard some reports as much as 18 to 22 inches. So they are bracing themselves for a serious. And you know what? When you stop and think about it, I have to say a special prayer for New York because I know that they have been hit so terribly with coronavirus. And then they're going to come right behind that and get hit with an ice and snowstorm in a monstrous. They're expecting. If it goes the way that they're thinking, it's going to be serious. So with that, and just knowing that, I'm just kind of praying for them because they already just coronavirus associated. They have ordered 5,000 body bags for the rest of this month. 5,000 body bags for the rest of this month. And they've also ordered extra refrigerated trucks. So as you see, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of change, a lot of transition, a lot of life that's being lost, whether it's coronavirus. And then when you dump this snowstorm on top of that, yes, Monica, it's a wow. When I read that this morning, that they have in anticipation of where they are expecting, largely due again to the coronavirus upsurge. And this is the interesting thing about coronavirus. People you go outside and you look around, you drive here, you drive there. It almost feels like everything's business as usual. It looks like the environment is, usual. It looks like, what's all the fuss about, especially for those that continue to insist that it's a hoax. But it's real. And so the sneaky thing is that you get out there and get to gallivanting, sashaying around, and then you pick up something from somebody, and then you take it back to your somebody's, and the next thing you know, your whole household is infected. And out of that household, the likelihood that somebody is not going to survive is very high, especially when you start talking about the coming indoors. And pay attention to that. Coming indoors during the wintertime and the closed quarters where you normally would go outside, at least here and there. Now you're talking about being enclosed inside for long periods of time. They started saying for those that stay in, and I'm just going to pass information that I've heard, and you do with it as you will or may. I'm not trying to fear monger, but I'm trying to help anybody that can to keep your body well and keep your household well. They said start turning on your fans and turn the fans in the opposite direction, because you need that circulation and ventilation going on in your house. Just instead of it pushing down, you want it to draw up. So those of you that have those reverse fans in your house, you may not be able to turn it on high because you don't want the fan blowing and cooling off what you're trying to heat up, and then increasing your bills as far as that. But then at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, increase the bill if it's going to save your life. Sometimes you got to count up the cost that it takes to follow Jesus. Count up the cost, and with courage, press your claim. So, you got to decide for yourself what works best for you, but they are recommending that you go ahead, turn those ceiling fans on, reverse that direction, pull that air up so that you can get some fresh regenerated air up in the house, and pull whatever's in there out. Go and change that filter, and they do have the filters now at the hardware store that are supposed to be, I know 3M is the one that I've been using, 3M and some of those others that are like some high percentage of what it actually extracts out of the air before it goes back into your house, or as it comes out, it's filtering that air. Change those filters. Some of y'all like, I never change my furnace filter. Well, I'm going to tell you where we're headed and what's going on in the land. Do everything you can to protect yourself. Go out there and get that filter and change the filter in your furnace, and go ahead and do that. Order it. They're doing a lot of that now. You don't necessarily have to wander all through the store. A lot of the stores have got it set up where you can order it and just do the curbside pickup. But let me encourage you, turn that fan, pull that air the opposite direction, change your filter out. They're also talking about making sure, particularly people of color, they have found that a very high percentage of individuals that really struggle with coronavirus are those that have low vitamin D. Now, as people that are fully melanated, we tend to have low vitamin D3, particularly anyway. And that vitamin D is what you get outside from the sun. And some of us weren't getting enough sun to begin with. I know that my family particularly, my siblings, my dad, I don't know about my mom, but we've all had vitamin D issues when we go to the doctor. That's one of the things they start talking about is the deficiency of the vitamin D, and I think that's hereditary. But that low vitamin D, I don't know if I said C earlier, but vitamin D is a problem, and they have found that individuals with low vitamin D do not fare well with coronavirus. So that you want to be able, should you get exposed to it or get it, that you got something to fight with. Your immune system is the issue, and as I said, it's not always the virus. If your immune system already has issues, then you are easier prey, if I can put it that way, for this particular virus, because if the immune system cannot get up to speed and do what it needs to do, it has a devastating effect on individuals struggling in that area. So I love y'all. So I'm trying to listen. When I hear something, I try to pass on the good stuff so that you can be on the good foot. I don't want every day, and I mean this seriously, not with fear, anxiety, but every day when I get up and I see the different names start populating in my chat, my internals like, thank you, God. Thank you, God. We appreciate the fact that you're able to get up, have the activity of your limbs, and you and your household are not currently impacted and affected by the virus. I want you to keep it that way, because again, with the winter setting in and the fact that all of the different changes of our activity based on weather are now going to really push our risk to a higher level. I want you to do everything you can in prevention. Pay attention to what you're eating. Pay attention to what's going in your body. Some of us need to go ahead and get a little exercise in, whatever you can do. Get those hot liquids. That's it. Get those hot liquids and break that phlegm up. And I heard that a lot of people that did go ahead with a hot beverage regimen, even those that had contracted, it seemed that the hot beverage really has a positive effect on shutting the virus down, helping to shut the virus down. So yes, I appreciate you, Monica, and any other good things that y'all know about out there in chat, because when we start getting slammed with all kinds of crazy cold weather, these are the times that really they're very, very concerned about us being inside, encapsulated almost, no fresh air coming in, no sunshine on our skin. Then we got to pay attention to all of these things, because listen, we're going to survive this. We are going to survive this, but we're going to be wise in how we survive. So get whatever you need to get. If you're vitamin D deficient and you know it, go get you some. As Monica said, get you some. I got some vitamin D3 gummies I chew every morning. I've got a woman's supplement that I take that has the vitamin D3 and the omegas. So, make sure as much as you have capacity, as we're headed into what looks to be a serious weather event and a serious weather season, do everything that you can to take care of yourselves. Okay. So I wanted to start with that because again, there are all kind of projections out there as to what's getting ready to happen. That multivitamin is a good one too. I'm telling you, that multivitamin. And I got the woman's multivitamin, and because sometimes women's body has different demands and different needs than the masculine body. So I specifically listen. I did my little research beforehand, and I read up on it. And again, this isn't fear mongering. I want y'all to understand, just like I said on yesterday, sometimes to win the prize, you're gonna and to get your harvest, you're gonna have to do a little bit extra. Hear me? You're gonna have to do a little bit extra, and it's not just gonna be all I just hope I don't get it. Proactive behavior, ain't nothing wrong with it. That's doing a little bit extra. Do some research, understand what science is saying about what's going on with this virus. They're also anticipating that it's going to mutate at some point. While in this phase right here, get your body well, get your body up to speed as much as you possibly can, so that your immune system can help you to fight anything that you might come into contact with. Above all else, though, shelter at home, continue doing it. I know you see Jim, Joe, Sally, and Bob out there rolling around and gallivanting in and out of each other's presence. But listen, they're just putting themselves at a very, very high risk. Yes, multivitamin, calcium, and fish oil daily. That fish oil give you them omegas. That fish oil is good. Come on here, Teresa. Help us. So as we look, and I have all of the above, as we look at what we are in for, again, without fear mongering, but I want you to understand that them 5,000 body bags and those extra refrigerated trucks are for a reason in New York. They are anticipating the kind of weeks to months that they're getting ready to have, and they are in preparation for that. I don't want any of us in those body bags if the Lord be our help and our keeper. So do what you can. Make sure you can still go outside and get a little bit of sun on your skin, y'all. Even in the cold, I know the cold keeps us in, but even in the cold, if it's a cold, clear, sunshiny day, step your toe outside that door and soak up a little bit of that natural. Because listen, the vitamin D in those gummies are great, but there's nothing like the real thing, baby. There's nothing like the real thing. So I want you to get out there and get some of that sun, soak it up, be healed, rise and be healed, rise and live, take up your bed and walk. I decree and I declare it over you. And in the meantime, I still want you to do everything that you have in your power to do to keep your body well. My friend in Arkansas said they've been in winter advisory, and I think over the weekend they lost power. Snow. Disruption, and you're going to hear me talk about this a little bit later, but all of these are disruptions to our normal system. Like she said, hey, y'all get all that stuff up there. We don't normally get all of that down here in Arkansas, not in our area. So you see that we're seeing things that we've never seen before, or that have been very uncommon. It is because there is a transition on the whole earth. There's a transition in the world. I want you to be here for the transition. And that's why I'm giving you these words of love and these words of wisdom on how you can help yourself to survive and thrive even in these days and times. All right. That was the opening story. While we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, they're getting ready to be slammed, and they're anticipating that it's going to hit them in not many days hence. Now, as we come on around, yes, the 5,000 body bags, I already touched on that. Now, I put this out here on JustSamas.com. I want to appreciate my sister, BTD Mom, who sent me originally, and I appreciate you guys for sending me stories and sending me information, because that's what helps me keep abreast of what's going on. It's not always that I'm out there in all of the different areas getting all the information. People constantly send me different things that are going on that keep me abreast and aware of what's going on. My sister sent me on yesterday, and I did put it out there on JustSamas.com, because we got to pay attention to what's still going on with our black community, particularly as it relates to law enforcement. So some of you, I'm sure, have probably already seen this story. It's not new, but it's just now being released because Chicago blocked it. But you all, I watched the video. It is horrendous. Chicago officers in their camcorder, you see them handcuffing and pointing guns at this naked social worker during a raid, only to find out they were at the wrong house. Now listen, y'all, I got the shade. This woman, a social worker, kept pleading to them and with them, you got the wrong person, you got the wrong house. I don't do drugs, I don't do anything illegal. Now, the dastardly thing about it, I gotta find it because I gotta put it up. The dastardly thing about it, this woman, I got to shade. This woman comes in her house. She's getting ready to shower after a long day's work, and they bust in. I mean, bust in the door and captivate her while she's naked. Now, this is what, like 12 men that come in her house while she's naked and then handcuff her without allowing her to put any clothes on. She continuously tells them, you must have the wrong house. What is going on? I haven't done anything. This is not right. You have the wrong house. I don't know what's going on. And then you hear this police officer that's in charge telling her to calm down. She says, sir, how can I calm down when you busted in my house? And I mean, standing there butt naked. And they leave her like that for over 20 minutes in handcuffs. Fully exposed, like she ain't nothing. Chicago. Now, this is the thing. It just came out because the news, CBS News in Chicago, went to court because the woman wanted the videos to be shown, but the city did not. The city didn't want it to be seen. So they sued for it not to be seen, and it ended up that when CBS went and filed their suit, and the woman was like, I want to show this video, the courts gave them the right to show the video, and so we're just now seeing it. So mind you, in the video, that you hear the officer who basically, when he goes back to the car, one of them, a couple of them, and they're having conversation. Number one, the warrant wasn't even altogether right. They didn't have all of that right. Yeah, this is why Chicago didn't want it to be seen. The warrant wasn't even executed correctly. Then you had the reality that, at the end of the day, they're like, this is the wrong place. Now, this is what made it so bad. Who they wanted was in that complex and was close to where the woman that they kicked in on, unbelievably dastardly. They were, and then now, here's the kicker to the whole joint. The man that they wanted had, thank you for bringing in, for the view. Thank you for the host, truly. Thank you for the host, truly. Now, the man that they wanted had an ankle bracelet, a detection device. How stupid can you be? Listen, could it be? Could it be? The devil? That ain't nothing but that old slimy devil. That ain't nothing but that old slimy devil. Good morning, truly. Now, how inept, how inadequate. Now, at the end of the day, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because I would have liked to have seen Chicago and its leadership just go ahead and acknowledge we jacked up. Stop trying to hide the truth. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Nobody has been arrested. Nobody has been dismissed. Nobody has been dealt with in any kind of way of that team. Just random, willy-nilly, go around and kick in people's house and continue to be held unaccountable. So I'm doing great this morning, truly. I'm doing great this morning. At the end of the day, where is the accountability? We have to continue. And this is what 2020 has done. And I'm going to say it again, disruption. We have to continue to insist that there is a disruption to the status quo, business as usual behavior. And this is the thing. And this was what CBS ended up doing. There is a long history in Chicago of wrong kick-ins, wrong detainments, wrong people held, and nobody's doing anything about it. So in all we've been going through, nobody's learning nothing, Monica. Nothing. How to continue to try to cover up. And y'all know I'm really disappointed with Chicago. And that's what I'm going to say about that. Chicago, I expect something different from Chicago. Now, at the end of the day, this is where disruption is essential for the new thing to happen. Because at bare minimum, this woman who is now traumatized wanted this brought to light because, as she said, she now, can you imagine standing, number one, you in your house, you're tired from a long day at work. Because y'all know social work is hard work and it's unending work, and there's never enough social workers in ratio to clientele. So you're always working in a shorthanded scenario. You come home from the hospital after a long day of doing your job, take off your clothes to think you're finally going to relax. Let me paint this picture because this is real stuff. Finally take off your clothes thinking that you're going to relax, and you're going to jump in the shower, calm yourself down, get cleaned up, and relax for the day to get ready to go back and do it all again the next day. And the next thing you know, you have somebody with battering rams, and you see them literally battering this woman's door down. Then if that wasn't enough, after they've come in, accosted this woman, made her stand there for 20 minutes butt naked before anybody makes any move toward really taking care. Then after they get done with all of that, her door that's now broken down, they take an ironing board and a little chair and angle it sideways as her securing of the door, because the door is now busted up. So now she got to sleep all night long or pay somebody to come fix her door in the middle of the night. And all your remedy was, when you couldn't fix the door that you battered down with the ram, an ironing board and a chair. Law enforcement should have learned to tweak their system to confirm their information. Now, you know, at the end of the day, and as Monica said, that's all I'm saying, the man had a detection bracelet on. And he was not, it wasn't a slippery, slick Rick, take it off and I'm someplace else. The man was where he was supposed to be with his detection device on. Are you kidding me? How inept can you be? Now, as her attorney is seen at the end of the video saying, I guarantee you, if you had changed this same scenario to another area of town and had it been a white female that all of this was enacted against, this would have been a totally different scenario. And yes, so she had to start shooting. And let me tell you what, she was weeping because, as she said, I feared that I was about to die. They finally called for female backup. Finally. And the female, when she finally gets there, takes her into the bedroom, uncuffs her long enough to put on some clothes, and then cuffs her right back up. Now, this is the insanity of it. The officer in charge is heard repeatedly telling her, calm down, calm down, calm down. Now you think about that, ladies, and brothers for that matter. You're in your house, somebody takes a battering ram and 12 full-grown, and they had their guns drawn. Yes, they did. They had their guns drawn, pointed on her, ready to shoot. And you got some dude, while you standing there butt naked, telling you to calm down. We need a disruption. And when I say that, I'm telling you, that's exactly what 2020 has been, because it's a new day. It's a new place. It's a new time. It's a new energy. Because we cannot continue. And for everybody that feels like this is okay, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Because if somebody kicks in on your house and leaves you standing butt naked over something that you weren't even guilty of, and you had the wrong house, you're not gonna tell me you're gonna stand there and be calm just because the police officer said calm down. And of course she wasn't acting unseemly because she was handcuffed. She was just crying and screaming, as any normal person would do, as any normal woman would do. And how you gonna calm down when you're in my personal space and you're violating me? Not only my space, but the violation that you got me standing here butt naked. You could have put something over. So you see him eventually kind of put some a little blanket or something she had in the house, but she's handcuffed and it keeps falling off, and they just leave her standing there. Now you know what that reminded me of, and y'all don't have to like me, I don't care, but that reminded me of a black woman standing on the slave blocks of slavery, waiting to be sold off, while she's standing there cuffed up and chained up, and all of her personal body is just out here exposed and hanging in front of all these white men. I'm pissed. This is what we deal with on a regular. You just watched it on CBS. It's sad, Teresa. And it happened 2 years ago. That's why I say this isn't new. It took them this long in the courts fighting for her to be able to show the video. Now, this is her body. This is her experience. But she had to fight with Chicago to allow them to show the video because she wanted it shown and it needed to be shown. Stop trying to cover your dastardly deeds. Two years. And like she said, my life will never be the same. My life will never be the same. And as she said, and this is what I'm talking about when I say disruption. It took her 2 years, but she finally got her video into the eyes of the public. And that's exactly why Chicago didn't want the public to see it, because it creates the disruption needed to demand change. Otherwise, we can keep on doing business as usual. We can keep on. And as she said, listen, because how many families have they done this to, that 1 minute they're innocent and the next minute they're traumatized for the rest of their lives by a situation that didn't have to be? And it's being done to us by the people that are supposedly pledged and vowed to protect us. Come on, keep on disrupting the system. Keep on demanding. Now, you want to show everything else. Those officers now, absolutely, positively, nothing has been done to them, SK 8843. And that's exactly what her attorney is crying foul. Something needs to happen. But you understand, when they sweep this crap under the rug and do not let the public know what is going on, they can keep walking around doing the same dastardly deeds over and over again, and nobody says anything to them because they're hiding. They're throwing rocks and hiding their hand. It's just dastardly. Now, in the midst of that, we have to understand, and speaking of where those officers now, where are the officers that killed James Floyd or George Floyd? Where they at? You done got permission to leave the venue. Where you at? And that being said, while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, I saw where another police officer on that same corner where George Floyd was killed had another man down in the ground, same position, knee. What this is going on with the knee? When you got a man on the ground, why do you need your knee for any kind of leverage to keep him down? And so that hit the news while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered. Oh my God, I'm telling you, it's just too much. Her lawyer just said that if she was white, it would have went another direction, and you're absolutely right. He said that at the very end. Had that been, and he named another location of Chicago town, and he said if this had happened, this very same thing had happened in another area of town to a white woman, this never would have happened, and it's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Yes, BTD mom, on the ground in cuffs at that. And then you see this officer with the full weight of his body and that knee. Stop it! Stop it! And so at the end of the day, and I'm gonna come here. At the end of the day, when you got 45 running around talking about he didn't lose, and now he's mad at Mitch. While you slumbered, slept, and slobbered, he's mad at Mitch for coming out and saying that Biden is the next president. And then they got a video, a leaked call. Now, I know they leaked that on purpose, of Mitch begging the rest of the Republican Party to go ahead and embrace Biden. He's allegedly begging. Come on, stop it. He's begging the rest of the Republicans to please embrace Biden because it's not going to bode well if they don't. Well, he's crying and snotting for himself because come January, when they make that election run down there in Georgia, if they don't stop all of these shenanigans, he will not be in charge anymore. And so, Mitch, we see you 10 miles away. You could care less about embracing Biden. Right now, you're trying to save your own political hide. You don't care about us. You trying to keep your hips in the chair. And we want you gone. But then, back to my point, you've got 45's attorney who told them to stock up on their Second Amendment supplies. Could it be? Could it be? The devil. BTD mom, did you call him? Did you call him? Did you call him out? We want you gone. So at the end of the day, you got the attorney for Trump out here running around telling Trump supporters, stock up on your supplies. Now, at the end of the day, I ain't scared of no ghosts. I ain't scared of no ghosts. And I hope you're not either. Because they shall not prevail. They will not win. This is foolishness. Foolishness. And this is exactly why I said, now, I'm already having, I'm trying to hold myself together with 46. I need 46 to pick up sticks. You're going to start trying to be friendly across the aisle without addressing the fact that these people have committed blatant, seditious abuse of power, and you're just going to act like you didn't see nothing. I don't like that either. Because at the end of the day, we still got this same dastardly group that we got to deal with and fight with and do all of this insanity. Anytime Mitch McConnell's got to call and try to plead and beg for the members of his party that occupy these seats to cooperate with the law and the Constitution, you don't need to be there. Y'all ain't ready for me. You don't need to be there. GOP has full-on embraced militant white supremacy, and they need to suffer the consequences. But all of this mamby-pamby across the aisle stuff, now I'm going to tell you how I feel about that. I know that there has to be a certain level of working across the aisle. I also feel like there's a certain amount of I'm crooked, you crooked, and who's going to get exposed. So now I'm going to just tell it like a T-I-Z-Tiz, yo stuff ain't right. The problem is going to be the innocent people that will become statistics. And at the end of the day, while they doing all of this political posturing at the top, the people are dying. 5,000 body bags? 5,000 body bags. Is anybody listening to me? So at the end of the day, you got these little jokers running around trying to play Mr. Policeman. And then one of the Republicans, while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, came out with her statement that she feels like now Trump needs to declare martial law. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? I told you months ago that the plan was not beyond trying to get to the 9th hour and declare martial law. And she's looking for backers out of the Republican Party that are willing to stand with her in encouraging the president to declare martial law. Martial law for what? Ain't nobody going around creating havoc but the Proud Boys. They have desecrated churches, burned up Black Lives Matter signs and anything else they can do, got in willful fights on purpose, trying to provoke individuals, beat a man to a pulp as the police acted like they was trying to pull him off. Ain't never pulled no weapon, ain't pulled no baton, ain't pulled no taser. So at the end of the day, y'all, I'm looking and I'm saying we're coming into a new age. We're coming into a new time. But it's not going to come without some disruption. I want to appreciate that sister and the news for fighting 2 years to allow and have her video published to the public so we can see the dastardly things that the police continue to do to Black bodies while they want to say there's no systemic racism. And to refute this dastardly, gotta find my thing, dastardly, there's only a few bad apples. Quit talking to me about a few bad apples. This is your broke down dastardly system that you have in place, and you are abusing Black bodies with orders and authority of the people in these municipalities. Quit lying. Ain't no few bad apples. And so I'm gonna keep talking about disruption, because we're gonna have to. And yes, you can disrupt a system. You can. It's sad. It's sad. It's out there. They put it out there, and it has gone viral, as it should be. The whole world needs to see it. And even as they said, I can't remember if it was in that interview on the that video or what, but the fact that usually what allows, it might have been in the commentary of the story, usually what allows people of color and Black folks to get traction for moving forward against civil rights issues and against human rights issues is usually cameras, pictures, and some sort of visual that gets out to the public, and then the outcry comes when they can see it, which is what they were arguing in her case, that they wanted the audience of the public to see this video, see this footage, see it. Because it makes all the difference in the world when you can see it and identify. This ain't no made up stuff. This ain't no made up stuff. This is real world, real life, real Black existence. And it's got to change. Didn't have anything to do with you didn't comply. Didn't have anything to do. And these kick-in warrants, I'm sick of them. And even as the report goes on to say, and they gave the number, I am just mortified. We're not talking about an isolated incident, and especially in Chicago. This is an ongoing problem that has to be addressed. Just kicking in on people. Then we get the kick in of Breonna Taylor in Kentucky. And they had nerve to arrest that boy for assault. When you kicked in my private place, you kicked in my dwelling and abode. You kicked in on me, and everybody else has a right to defend themselves. But you got nerve to arrest me and kill my girlfriend on my private property just because you can. Oh, it's jacked up, y'all. And so we're going to have disruption. And that's why even yesterday I talked about the prison system and whether it's physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, you got to stop it. Stop it dead in its tracks. And this is going to be something, because at the end of the day, if they ever get this thing on track, there's going to be a flooding of police officers leaving, because some of them got on the force just so they could be brutal, racist white people and abuse black bodies. Now, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I tell it, listen, this coffee, no cream, no sugar. I take my coffee strong and black because I tell it like a TIZ. Yes, you, O-Cube, one-on-one, just me and you. Because I'm going to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. This is not isolated, and it's got to stop. So kudos to her and her attorney for disrupting the system. You're not going to tell me the video can't be viewed. Put it out there so the people can see what you did and how you did it. Because it was wrong, all kinds of wrong. And Chicago and Chicago mayor, we want something different. And it's going to change. We will not accept plantation living, SK 8843. And for the folks that want us to be happy little pickaninnies on the plantation, well, you look what you got. Listen, what I don't have is freedom. What I don't have is liberty. What I don't have is the pursuit of happiness. What I don't have is a life that's protected by the people that are supposed to protect me. I'm not your little pickaninny. Yeah, I start to say something there. I'm not. And you're not gonna come in my house while I'm butt naked and have me paraded in front of all of y'all little nasty selves. Nasty, just nasty. Anybody with a half an ounce of decency, any decent man would have taken something and made sure she was covered. You're nasty. Low down and dirty. Oh, King Coogee is balsamic black today. Balsamic black. Because at the end of the day, this must stop. And for the people that keep closing their eyes to the realities of these types of situations, that's a one-off. That doesn't happen very often. That's a few bad apples. No, it's not. Oh yeah, it's gonna change. It's gonna change. Because we're gonna keep on disrupting the system through the system. Through means of coming up with ways of addressing it. We're not gonna allow you to keep sweeping this under the rug and closing your eyes and turning your head and burying your heads in the sand and acting like it didn't exist. See, this is a thing that irritates me. It irritates me with church too. Things are happening and things are going on, and then you got those in the church. Well, we don't need to talk about that. Yes, we do. Why don't y'all talk about if it be any goodness and if it be, think on these things. We got to think on what's really happening. Because after all of your years of not paying attention and not wanting to talk, but y'all whispering. See, the whole time y'all whispering. Because when y'all get home, y'all pick up the phone and y'all start making them phone calls one to another. But nobody will address the system and say, this must stop. And so at the end of the day, we're going to talk about it. You can bury your head in the sand. I just can't. Oh, that's okay. This isn't your platform. Find one that works for you. But in this platform, we take our coffee, no sugar, no cream. We take it strong and black because we tell it like it T-I-Z-Tiz. And we need to talk about this. No black sister should be in her home and be exposed to a kick-in where she's left standing handcuffed and butt naked while they roam around in the wrong house. Going through all her stuff, dismantling her house, looking for stuff. She kept saying, there's nothing here. I don't do drugs. I don't do anything. 3 times. Get that coffee going. Strong and black. So I want us to pay attention, because you know why? It can happen to you. It's a total violation, Monica. It can happen to you. All you got to do is be the right color, and it can happen to you. And we have got to address the system and stop burying our heads in the sand. So the question that I have today, what are we going to do about it? And I really want you to think about it. Not Afraid to Speak. I'm proud to have founded that organization. I agree, SK 8843. Those officers should be fired, restricted from future employment, and without pension eligibility. At minimum. Who is the mayor of Chicago? So at the end of the day, we're going to keep screaming. We're going to keep hollering and crying. And as I said, I'm very proud of an organization that I founded called Not Afraid to Speak, because we have those that are working on criminal justice reform, because this has got to change, y'all. This has got to change. And we're not afraid to speak. We are not afraid to speak. Every black woman in America ought to be outraged by every black man, every person in America. I don't even need to put no color on the skin. But when you can let our sisters be treated like this and say nothing, and I'm still mad at Chicago's mayor, and say nothing, and better yet, try to hide it from the people, you know you're wrong. You ain't got to hide if ain't nothing there. You know you're wrong. And see, I don't understand. Now, I'm gonna just keep it real, tell it like a T-I-Z-Tiz. I don't understand black people that stand by and support a system that they know is abusing black people. I don't understand that. I don't. What's wrong with you? Your mama's black. What are you doing? Your sister is black. Your auntie, your grandma, what are you doing? Your daughter. You gonna let some little piece of position blind your mind and your eyes to the reality? These are your people. All of us are God's children. Nobody should be treated like that, but especially. Okay, I'm done with that. I ain't done, but I'ma quit because I'm mad. 2 years, Teresa. It took 2 years for that to come to the surface. Thank you for the biddies. It took 2 years of fighting. And I'm gonna tell y'all, don't be surprised. There may be many things that it's gonna take us some time. We're gonna have some reform. We're gonna have some prison reform. You're not gonna keep taking our babies and making slaves out of them. We're gonna have some police reform. You're not gonna keep killing us like dogs in the street. You're just not gonna do it. You're not gonna kick in on our houses whenever you get ready and ramble and ransack our houses, tear up the door leave it with the ironing board leaning across it. Oh, that pissed me off. What's an ironing board? While I stand butt naked for 20 minutes. it's time to make that change. We are the people who can do it. And I really wanted to, because listen, I want you to hear, and Regina, why did you take so much time? Spiritual thought leader, why did you take so much time on that? Do y'all not see the trappings of trying to go backwards? If that ain't some plantation crap right there, I don't know what is. And that's why they didn't want you to see it. Because it looks, you get a bird's eye view. Camera, roll that beautiful bean footage. Camera recorded how the plantation operates. But we ain't gonna live on no plantation. We're done. 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 Stick a fork in me, because I'm done. So I want you to understand, this is the system that we've got white supremacy and white supremacists trying to protect, because it serves their purpose. It serves their ability to stay in a position of authority. Now, having said all of that, what is the remedy? And I'm gonna just jump right on in. Let me get King Coogie's second song in there. We gonna pull up this next one. Here we go, y'all. My word of the day, I chose on purpose and with purpose. Masters. Masters. How are we going to turn this thing around? We have to become masters. Now, hear me when I say this, because I'm not talking about slave masters. We have to become masters of ourselves, masters of our universe, masters of our ship, masters of our mind, masters of our creations. It's time for us to become masters and to operate in mastery. And I heard a word, thank you, Royal Confessions. I heard a word Royal Confessions turned me on to. She said, you got to listen to this, you got to listen to this, you got to listen to this. So I got a chance last night to sit down and listen to it. And that's what I love about my friends. They're constantly feeding me, and we pump each other full. We act silly, we clown. Y'all think we were absolute crazy nuts if you came and heard some of the conversations that we have. But at the end of the day, we feed each other. Iron sharpens iron, and we'll share when we hear something good. Bernard Jordan, who is a powerful thinker, began to talk about mastery and the fact that disruption is coming because the age is changing. And to really move into that next realm of change. Now, I told you all, when this pandemic first started, I heard the Spirit say to me, this is not a roadblock. This is a bridge. This is not a roadblock. This is a bridge. And so as I've seen the progression of 2020 and all the different things, sheltering at home, you can't go to church, you can't go to the store, you can't congregate, you can't this, you can't that, And I heard just as clearly, this is not a roadblock, this is a bridge. Because we're going to stand on this side of the bank of the river, and that bridge is going to carry us over to the other side. 2020 was the disruptive process that had to happen to build the bridge so we could cross over. Now, I will say the bridge has been building for a minute. The bridge has been being built for many years. But the climax, when they finally finished fixing that bridge, I can remember all the way back in my city when they were building a part of the highway, and it got to one part out by where I lived where they had to put in a bridge and an overpass. And that was the last thing they did in that link. And I can remember when they opened the highway, and that was a big deal. And it was huge because it connected our side of town to the wealthier side of town. And I remember when they had the little ribbon cutting ceremony, and I'd already found a little back way where even before they officially opened it up, I was already driving it. Some of us take the bridge a little early. But at the end of the day, there was that excitement that came after years and years and years of putting in that stretch of 435. It was huge. It was, now people drive it now, they don't think anything of it. It's just like, hey, but there was a day in time, honey, none of that was there. I look, and I'm gonna say something here. What did it take to get that stretch of bridge in? My mother's church home, 93rd and Call Drive, 92nd and Call Drive, where it is. Teresa might be able to tell me the exact, because her family came from that area as well. That highway took all of that. Took the church, took all of those houses, took houses on several streets over. Now, this is the thing. Stay with me. I'm talking about masters. And I'm going to drop this little nugget on you right now that he said. If you don't become masters, you will be disasters. If you don't become masters, you will be disasters. Just meditate on that. Now, I'm still on the positivity. I'm not trying to tell you you're going to be, but I'm telling you, you got to have a level of mastery. And I'm going to drop that on there. We'll come back to that. So when I look at that process, when they put in that new roadway, and especially the area where they had to put the overpass to make that last link, they took houses, they took land, they took churches. Oh, that's a word right there. They took places of worship. All of that had to go for the bridge and the highway to come through. Now, some of y'all looking at, well, they took. But listen, I'm going to tell you what. I knew a lot of those people that lived in those houses in the land that they took for the bridge, and the houses they were able to build after their land got took by the highway was 10 times better than the house they was living in before the highway came. And I'm just telling you like a TIZ. They were better off after they took those little houses, and those people rose up and built brand new houses. Bought land and built brand new houses that didn't look nothing like them little shanties they was living in before the highway came through. That's a word for somebody. While you're trying to hold on to all of this old stuff. But the church, that church took that money and went someplace else, got another church, bigger and better, and went on about their business. But my home, listen, all of these things, and I'm really talking and teaching symbolically right here. There's stuff that y'all been trying to hold on to, that the new path coming through is going to take all of that. And instead of seeing it as, oh my God, I'm in an awesome state of loss, I want you to understand, and I'm going to say it again, many of those people whose houses and facilities and buildings were taken, they ended up better than they were before the highway came through there. I promise you that this year and the loss and the change and the transitions that you've been through, I promise you that you're going to come out better than you were when you came into this thing. I promise you, you're going to come out better. Can't replace that old house. Can't replace that old church. And that church, my mother and others, I remember going because they built that church with their hands. It was a beautiful church too. It was a church beyond its time because it had hardwood floors. It wasn't no raggedy church. That was a nice church. And those women went in there and they built that with the men. They came together. They built that church. It was a solid brick church when they got finished with hardwood floors. That church was nice, ahead of its time and ahead of its day back then when the other churches were in little storefronts and shanty buildings and buildings about to fall down. That church was nice out there in the middle of no man's land. But the church had to go. That structure had to go for something greater. And now the bridge, the throughway, that it allows the traffic to increase and flow and float and fly through there. that bridged one side of Kansas to the other side of Kansas, so you could have a shortcut and a speedway. Now hear me when I say this. You still got the old highways are still there. They didn't go away. I can take K32 if I want to. I can take K132 if I want to. I can take 7 if I want to. But I can jump on 435 whenever I get ready and cut off a whole lot of time. They've connected that to I-70, and I can jump on that and wherever I want to be in no matter of time. Way, way, way reduced in time if I had to drive all the way in from K32. Now I want you to hear what I'm saying, because again, I'm telling you, this isn't a roadblock. It's a bridge. The loss and the things that we've gone through transition are opening up greater doors to where you are going to be moving forward. Where you're going to be moving forward. Every now and again when I drive and I look over and I remember what was over there. I remember the good times that we had. I remember the fellowship. I remember the people that lived in that neighborhood. I remember the Rosenthals. I remember the Balances. I remember the Gonzalez. I remember all of them that were over there. At the end of the day, change has come and we're moving forward. Are you hearing me? Because as we grow and go through to this new age, hear me, K32 was sufficient for the travel of that day. K32, let's even take it back to Grinner House. If I go further down, there was an old place where when waterway was how they transported their goods. At that time, it was a major spot because when you got to the Grinner place on Call Valley, on Call Drive, you could bring your goods in when they were traveling by boat, and then you might load that up on the horse and buggy and take that to wherever you're going. Well, the boat and the horse and buggy got replaced with other means of transportation. So Grinner House and Call Point, all of that became irrelevant. It had its day. It had its time. It was huge in one point of Kansas history. But now it's just, there's a memory of what used to be in Grinner House. But change. And even K32, put that stuff on horse and buggy and you can go this direction or that direction. But eventually, we had to transition to the fact that we got automobiles. Now, as somebody said, you can always go back to the plaza and ride the horse and buggy if you want to. If you're in New York, as Jordan said, he can go and watch them ride a horse and buggy at Central Park if you want to. But that's not your main mode of transportation. So K32, even though it fed horse and buggy real well, served it. Did okay when they paved it for automobiles, served it. But when we move to a whole nother place, as we begin to come into another level of mastery, and I want to underscore that word mastery. Mastery. I am whatever it is that I have, whatever it is that I've been given. I've got to become a master of that and expand and grow. Pull up the tents, pull up the stakes of your tent, enlarge your territory. Stop trying to be back here and live on K32 in horse and buggy. Yes, I had beautiful times at that church. I had beautiful memories at that church, but the memories of that church and that structure had to give way to progress and change and transition for a bigger purpose. Am I talking to anybody? And yes, I'm sure you, as we were, oh my goodness, the church is moving. They're taking the church. And y'all know how it is when you first hear about change and you ain't got all the information, you ain't got all the details right. They're taking the church. Sadness, sadness, sadness. Besides the fact of the sentimental. But y'all know, let me tell you about that church. We be having a good time, and we were right there by the train tracks. And we be having a good time, and then all of a sudden you'd hear talking, and then all of a sudden lips moving, body movement, but you couldn't hear a thing because the train was so loud that it drowned out everything. So that I don't care what you said, I don't care what you were singing, I don't care what you were doing. It was almost like a TV or something when the sound, that's the way it was. Because y'all know how it used to be back in the day. Black folks was gonna be somewhere by the tracks. Because that was where other folk didn't want to be. Y'all ain't buying what I'm selling. And so at the end of the day, there are pros, but there are also cons. And sometimes when change is coming, we really don't often want to acknowledge all the cons that are really there and why this transition is really better. Because we become sentimental and clingy, and I don't want to let go of that. There's a reason church had to be disrupted. I told you disruptions. Disruptions are what begin to signal change of an age. So we begin to look at the idea to have full control, power, and authority of what is mine, mastery of come on, you gotta master it. You gotta master it. I'm not talking about people. And this is where humanity has missed it, because we hear masters and mastery and we think it's got to be over somebody else, whether it's in government, whether it's in the church, whether it's in whatever system we set up. We always want to be masters of somebody else. Mastery and master yourself. Let the mastery that you have be of your earth, your temple, your mind, your creative genius. But you gotta be masters or you will see disasters. He said that. I was like, oh, come on here. Because too many times we're comfortable just skimming and skating on the surface, half doing. Some would be challenged with college. Okay, I'll use myself in this instance because things came very easily to me growing up in education. But then when I got to college, there were certain courses that my former, and I hear, if I can hear it, I'll remember it more times than not. It's particularly if I've done something and I see it and I observe it, it's locked in, usually, in my younger years especially. But then there came some courses, you weren't gonna learn it like that. When I got in my chemistry course, and I'm talking about at the college level. Oh yeah, I had it in high school and I skated right on by. Skated right on through. But when I got to when I need to know this synaptic cleft is triggered by this chemical reaction and it connects, baby, you weren't gonna get that by osmosis and just sitting there listening. Because yes, my professor lectured, but he also left a whole lot of information that you were responsible for that he didn't lecture on that was in the book. And I had to learn a brand new discipline because I had not mastered how to study because I didn't have to. And really at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you what, the only person I did a disservice to was myself. And yes, I made straight A's, but that wasn't the issue. The issue was you still need the discipline of knowing how to master a subject. Am I talking to anybody? Mastery of whatever it is that concerns you. As we're taking this time of knowing the disruptions that we see and the disruptions that we must yet do, all of these disruptions to help us to cross the bridge over to the other side, it's going to require that we be masters of our universe. You can't master anything outside of you. I just saw what you said, Coogee. You have got to come to a place that you determine Even if it's a new place, a new venture, a new journey, master it. And you're not too old. You're not too old. No, 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 no. Somebody sitting there telling me, child, I done got to an age now. No, 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 no. All hands on deck. The village needs every lion to roar. Even in your area of expertise, from the time you last studied it till today, things have changed. Medicine has changed. Science has changed. Data has changed. Master it. Make sure that you're on point. Make sure that you're on top of it. Make sure that you got recent data. Make sure that you got recent information. Make sure that you know how to approach it from today's time. Because listen, they're doing it differently now than they did back in 1939. So you got to bring it into 2020. You can do it. So as we come into this place of transition, I hope you hear me when I say, first and foremost, listen to my analogy that I've shared with you about how the bridge may require a laying and a re-landscaping of your land, re-landscaping of your area. Stop trying to hold on to what has been. It's over. Am I talking to anybody? Stop it. The disruption of people going to the four walls of a building and calling it church. But at the end of the day, y'all didn't have fellowship. Y'all didn't really have fellowship. I don't care. You come together, you sing together, and you walk out the door and you still didn't really know each other. Oh yeah, that 10, 15 minutes after church or that 10 or 15 minutes before. We're in a season and an age right now that is going to be founded on relationships. And I'm sad to say, many of our previous churches and ministries did not have relationship. You didn't have relationship with the pastors and the leadership. You didn't have relationship with one another. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. Some of you that said our church did, some of you did because you came from family churches and you knew each other as family. But if you took yourself outside of that, and in some ways you didn't even know each other as family. But if you took yourself out of that familial status, you really didn't know each other then. And then, come on, wasn't nobody coming in outside, coming in new because y'all was such a clique of family. People came and visited and walked right back out the door because y'all was clannish. It wasn't going to be no more people in your church because it's a family church. But you don't know how to be relational with people outside of your family. And so we're coming to a time now. Shut the doors. Lock the windows. You can't come in. Now build a real relationship. How are we going to do that? We all separated. We all this, we all that. Some of y'all know phone calls, person to person, are better now than they ever were. Texts, Zoom, all of this stuff. When in times past before 2020, you may not hear from somebody for 2-3 weeks, 2-3 months, 2-3 years. Now all of a sudden, because we can't, folks want to link up. That's good. It's a good disruption. It's a good disruption to that system where we became so disconnected and disjointed. It's good that we can't go 2, 3, 4 years at a time and never pick up the phone and say hi. It's good. The disruption is good. So when we come to the point now where I need to call and check on, I need to pick up the phone, I need to Zoom, I need to see your face. That needed to happen, and God forbid that it stop after the pandemic is over. The pandemic came to disrupt it, to put us in another realm. So you could have a relationship. So you could go outside the four walls. King Coogee is here. I wouldn't have known King Coogee. King Coogee wouldn't have known me. I wouldn't have known many, many, many people. We would not be having this exchange and this sharing of ideas, of creativity, of love, of all the things that we bring to the table, had it not been. And the universe is saying, yeah, I did it accidentally on purpose. So like I said, just like they came through when they started building the new superhighway that came through, yeah, it took some property. It took some land. It took some churches. It took some properties that people had strong association to sentimentally. But it also put them in better positions. Are you hearing me? And I want you to start looking at the better position that God is setting you up for. He's ready to give you all of that. One thing that I want you to really determine in yourself, to have the absolute best that I can have, I've got to master whatever gifting God has given to me, whatever vision God has given to me, whatever creativity and energy God is. And listen, I want you to pay energy. Get in the place of people that give you energy. If they like kryptonite, pay attention. This isn't a time for kryptonite. I'm going to say this, and this is a little bit off, but when I said energy, I thought yesterday, and I kind of had this conversation with a friend, so I'm going to throw this in because there's some reality here. I was talking yesterday, and I said, you know, what we did, particularly as people of color, in this whole evangelical debacle that has created the racist, fundamentalist, bondage mentality that we got. So as we get into this space of recognizing, oh yeah, you got to master how to walk before you can run. Come on. And at some point, Coogee, like we all do, I can run, but I'm gonna master how to drive this car. I'm gonna master how to drive this vehicle. Cause listen, some places I can't even run too fast enough. I'm gonna get in my car and get there. As we come into a place of energy, and I said this debacle that we had with the evangelical bondage teaching and indoctrination that we gobbled up hook, line, and sinker. And I said people of color and Africans from our own African heritage, we've always had worship in movement. That's and you know why? And really, I want you to pay attention. Whether it's rhythm and blues, whether it's gospel, whether it's, just take it all the way across the board. How many times have we create a genre and everybody else comes behind it and tries to imitate it, but they can never imitate it and create it to the same way that it was created. And one of the things that I identify about that, and I'm not trying to be a racist or anything like that, I'm just identifying how, how sometimes you'll have people that are like, last night they were playing in Rebel's house. I put in a song by Aretha, because y'all know that's my girl. Anybody that knows me know I love Aretha. Don't y'all mess with Aretha. Aretha, don't say nothing negative about Aretha, not up in my house. I put on a song by Aretha. People start getting moved. People start getting touched. Why? Because Aretha had that energy. I don't care if she was singing gospel. I don't care if she was singing a Christmas song. I don't care if she was singing R&B. I don't care if she was singing pop. Because that she knew how to move energy. Hear me. And I want you to be able to learn how to move energy. And I'm telling you, that's why you had white ministries coming to black churches trying to learn how to preach black, because black preachers could move with that. They knew how to move energy. Hear me when I'm saying something right here. They knew how to move energy. That's why musicians would come to the black areas of town and pick up and try to imitate their music style, because their music style, whether it was blues, whether it was what, they knew how to move energy. That's why, and I still see it today, you'll get a Korean choir, you'll get a white choir, you'll get all different ethnicities of choirs, and they'll sing a song and they sing it black. And that video goes viral on YouTube because everybody's like, oh, they sound black, because they're trying to imitate, they're pulling, they want to be able to move that energy. And I said, even in our worship experience, when you come into church, it wasn't one of those sit there and don't say it. You go, hey man, yes. You're going to have the full going in. Why? Because we're moving energy. And if you came from the church that I came from, you're going to do the holy dance. Your feet get light and you're going to get happy because we moving energy. And I want you to understand something about that powerful gift is that you and I, everybody has been given that gift. But I do want to say this because I want to talk to empower and lift us up where we've been so downtrodden. I want you to pay attention. Why is everybody trying to imitate what we do? Because we are energy movers. When you go in the boardroom, they want you there because your brain comes up with ideas that nobody else can think of. You're an energy mover. When there's a problem-solving situation in corporate America, they want to bring in somebody that has that creative juice flowing. They're going to send for you because you are energy movers. Even we took at Hidden Figures and we want to go to the moon. We got to get to the moon. We're in the space race against Russia. And even though they wouldn't tell it, who did they call for? Black women that had mathematical genius. We are energy movers. When you look at the creative genius of so many of the different things that have been made, I mean, yeah, come on now, Alexander Graham Bell, copycat, stealing from somebody else. I can go on down the line of inventions that we did not get credit for, that we created, and even those that we do get credit for, innumerable, because we have energy that creates. And so when you hear me talking about your energy, yes, I want you to master it. There must be mastery in your energy. And people of color, we need to rise, lift our heads, and recognize from the beginning of time, people have been trying to create and recreate our energy. What built this country was our energy. Hear me. Pride in that alone is what causes me to rise up and say, there's got to be a disruption. You will not come in and kick in a black woman's house in 2020 and terrorize and traumatize her for 20 minutes because we are creators of energy. I got pride about who we are. I've got pride about what we've done. I've got pride about who I am. And I have pride about what I'm about to do because I am an energy mover and I'm going to master it. And so I need you all to hear that. The energy that God has given you, I need you to master it. I need you to have total mastery over that energy. We've been energy movers. And listen, even if you want to go negatively, we see a lot of the energy being utilized to create energy for negative things. If we could just turn that around. When I look at my babies on the street, y'all stop talking about them. Let's help them redirect that energy. When I look, my sister had an awesome academy. Looking at those little kids in there. Sometimes they came in with all kinds of sordid situations going on in the home. But what did I see? I saw potential because they were energy movers. there was one, oh my God, the one family, everybody, you would think they, by society standards, was the family from hell. Every last one of those kids were geniuses. They were energy movers. One day I had two of the oldest ones that everybody had counted out in the school system and this and that and the other. And my sister was kind enough, even though she was kind enough to do some care with them. And one day I told them, I said, listen, she had a little stage in the back of her daycare of her academy. And I put up a little thing and had them put on a show. And when I tell you that talent show had my head spinning. Creators of energy. And if we're not careful, they'll all end up in the system. And that energy is just pent up and going nowhere. And I want you to hear me when I say, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to use the analogy of the church. We went, and I'm talking about black folks, into the racist evangelical realm, and we let them teach our energy right on out of us. It don't take all of that. I want to be dignified. I want to move like they move. Oh my God, now, and I look at these costumes they come in and call them robes and hats and staffs, and thy rod and thy staff coming down the center aisle. All of that. We took on all of that. And where's the spirit? Where's the energy? Oh, I looked the part. I got the gold ring. Even oh man, it just kills me. They getting down, kissing it and carrying out. When do we start doing that? Where'd that come from? We done just soaked up and sopped up all this stuff. Now we sitting with no energy, just like they sat with no energy. And you know what's so funny about that? They're trying to do the reverse, and the energy that we used to display, we sitting up looking like them, and they trying to be like us. Because they realize there's energy in this movement. We don't understand it, but there's energy in this movement. There's power in this movement. I'm talking about the physical movement. And we done traded off. And now we looking like I don't know what. With no energy. Just zap, just drain. As somebody said about Aretha, all I do, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to her voice, and it's doing something to me because her voice is moving energy. Her voice knows how to pull that energy up to the surface and bring it raw right up in front of your feelings, your thoughts, and your emotions. That's the way we used to move energy. Because she learned how to master that. It was a mastery that she had. That even though she's dead and in her grave, you can play back those vocals. And because she mastered her energy, it still moves us and connects with our energy today. Am I talking to anybody in here? So at the end of the day, we are masters. We are masters of our own ship. We are masters of our energy. That creative power that cannot be subdued. That's yours, and nobody can take that away from you. And so I need you to become the master. I told you, I'm teaching liberation theology now. I'm done with all that bondage stuff. Y'all can preach it and talk it all you want to. Y'all can run after it all you want to. I'm done with bondage. I'm talking to lions. I'm talking to lions. I want to hear you roar. Energy. King and queen. Reign. R-E-I-G-N. Reign. as the master. Because if you don't master, it's going to be a disaster. This is real talk. This is real talk. BTD mom, it's real talk. Because you are needed for such a time as this. We need you. Yes, you. That's why the name of the broadcast. Yes, you. We need you. Not your sister, not your brother. You. Not your mother, not your father. You. It's in you. You have it. But it's too late. I've already been emancipated. See, thank you, SK8843. Now, you know, I grew up in a mostly a community where they didn't look like me, where I went to school. And so for anybody that doesn't know, that comes from the line of the streak. Oh, well, they call him the streak. Look at there, fastest thing on 2 feet. And so he keeps on going and the story goes on. And so the man is talking to his wife, Ethel. Don't look, Ethel. But it was too late. I'd already been emancipated. Y'all don't know nothing about streaking because they wasn't doing that at your school. Y'all don't know nothing about streaking. But they were streaking out there in Bonner. Yeah, graduation, they were streaking right on across. But nonetheless, she'd already been emancipated. And I want you to already be emancipated. You've seen it. You've got a taste of it. You've got a glimpse of it. Now, declare your emancipation. Oh, yeah, it was funny. It was funny. It was necessary that K32 and those structures and those don't look, Ethel, but it was too late. It's necessary that those structures and buildings had to go. And I'm telling you, 2020, it was necessary that some of these structures and buildings had to go. Because right now, we are truly not in a roadblock, but we're at the bridge. And it's time for us to cross over. It's time for us to cross over. Road confessions, you looking with one eye open. Don't look, Ethel. But it was too late. She'd already been emancipated. Then on another one that says, don't look, Ethel. But it was too late. She'd already been demoralized. I'm gonna have to get that song and play it for some of y'all that never heard it. But listen, it was strong back up in the day because I was from Bonner. And honey, that song was a hit in Bonner. Don't look, Ethel, the streak. But listen, I need you to really get that mindset that I've been emancipated. I've already been emancipated. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. And I'm going to be a master. I'm not just going to be a novice. I'm not going to just be somebody hanging in the midst with everybody else trying to soak up their shine. I'm going to shine with my own light. I'm going to shine with my own that God has given me. You're right, SK. After the highway came through, many of those families built generational wealth off of the highway, coming and taking their property. And that is the truth. That's actually how some of them broke through the barrier from there to now, from then to now. And that is very true. The wealth that's going to come, not only to you, but to generations to come after you, because we're changing this paradigm. It's a paradigm shift, y'all. It's a paradigm shift. It's time to move. We have been in that place for the length of time and for the age of time that it was supposed to be. Now it's a new age, and I need you to be masters. All right? I think we're at the end of the day. I hope that this has helped you to think, because when we talk about all these other things that are going on in the world, the only way they're going to change, and I'm going to keep talking about them, because not because I'm trying to come in here and overwhelm you with negativity. We've got to know what's going on so we can know what to change and how to change it. Because things that you're unaware of, even like this video that was hidden for 2 years, it's been cloaked and hidden. We need to know what they're doing to our sisters and our brothers out there. Thank you for following Dago 98765. Appreciate you. So at the end of the day, as we come into this new place, I want us to take this word, take it seriously. We've got to be masters. We've got to know how to move, how to maneuver. We got to really get to a place where we know who we are and what we're doing. Thank you for the shout out for King Kuji. Y'all go follow my brother. Y'all enjoying this beautiful music that he's made for our stream. You please go follow him, support, subscribe to his channel. That's my brother. That's my sire. I appreciate him. All right. I love y'all with the love of God, and I hope that this has helped you today. Well, it's another day's journey, and I'm glad about it. I'm glad about it. I'm so glad that y'all came in here to join me on today for today's edition of Yes You, O Cube, one-on-one, just me and you. I appreciate you so much. Listen, I am Regina L. Stillman, and I am your spiritual thought leader. I appreciate you for coming on with me today, and I encourage you to follow me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Patreon, Twitter, Twitch, Anchor, and more. I'm out there in all those different places. And yes, Jasamis.com is the platform that I'm currently putting together, and I want you to go and check it out. As my friend Rhonda Royal says, if you don't deal with it, it will deal with you. Now, our word for today is master. So I want you to be masters. I want you to deal with it. And not only deal with it, but I want you to master it. I want you to be at the top of your game. I want you to be all of that and the bag of chips, because that's who you are. I want you to be the change. And as we wrap it up, we always like to encourage you to remember us, you, me, we all, because we in this thing together. Hey, doggo, yo, I keep saying, yo, how you doing? I appreciate you for joining us at the end of this broadcast. Well, you know how I say, I want you to be encouraged. I want you to go through this day, chew on it a little bit, like a cow chewing cud, chew on it, regurgitate it, get a little more nutrition out of it, send it back down to that next stomach, and keep on going till you get all of the goodness out of it. And I guarantee you, if you do, you'll get some good milk. Well, have an awesome day. I love you, I love you, I love you. And I want you to have peace for your journey. Yes, I do.